you know what they say, just can't give some things up. Not that I was trying to. I've been out of commission for a couple weeks because I was very sick for a bit after New Year's Eve. Those New York City parties can really take it out of you for quite a bit. But then I lost my voice, laryngitis, and then getting back to school and all that. But now I am back. It is very, very odd, to be quite honest, to be casting a Dota 1 game because I was like, alright, Valve's been saying Dota 2 will come out on the Mac for open beta pretty soon, but I've received information by a certain Chinese person that Dota 2 will not be out for the Mac anytime soon, so that's a little bit sad. I'm thinking of setting up a couple things. I'm starting to save for PC so I can start doing Dota 2 stuff, but until then, we are back to good old Dota 1, and this is not a Chinese game. Oh my god, can you guys believe it? Hold on, hold on. Just chill. It's not a Chinese game, but it is Dota 1, and it is from a tournament. It is Mineski on the Sentinel side, not the Radiant, and Neolution, the Malaysian team, on the Scourge side. And this is on the newest map, so we might be able to see some of the new items in action. It's on version 6.73B, not C, but B. So maybe we'll see maybe like a Tuskar or Terrorblade or a hero like that, one of those types of heroes. But if not, we're going to see these Southeast Asian teams playing it out very aggressively because that's what we've come to know expect. Not that Chinese teams haven't been exciting recently. Their games end pretty quickly, but we see sort of the same heroes over and over again. If you've been keeping up to date on Nebula's cast, he's been doing a daily every day this year, so check him out on DCCom. And I think Luminous is casting a couple of those new Dota 1 games, but I haven't been able to claim the newest non-Chinese Dota 1 game, so this is from the TGS 2012 tournament. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's a Tokyo Game Show. I really doubt that's the case because I don't think that is the tournament, and it wouldn't be held in Southeast Asia. It would be held in Tokyo. Flawless logic. Anyway, let's get into the game. Lich, Batrider, Silver, all very common bans. I don't feel like I need to go over this into too much detail, but we see Shadow Demon, Slardar, and Lycanthrope being banned. Now, Slardar and Lycanthrope aren't too common aren't too uncommon in terms of bans. The Shadow Demon for the Chinese has been receiving a lot less attention, and it's interesting to see that Neolution decided to ban him with their first ban. And there's no Invoker, so we still see a different Dota 1 metagame, even though heroes like CK, Slardar, Pen have been picked up in the Chinese metagame, which are quite interestingly heroes that originated from the Southeast Asian Dota metagame. So, trends come and go, but I guess teams will remain the same in terms of what heroes they want to pick up. They see a Queen of Pain on the Illusion side. Clear to deny that from Mineski because Mineski loves playing Queen of Pain. A hero with a lot of mobility, a lot of chasing, and a very aggressive ganker. Meanwhile, Mineski picked up Brood and Earthshaker with their first two picks. Now, Earthshaker, I think, was more so that Neolution could pick up Earthshaker because Earthshaker fares quite well against Bballin in terms of pushing, in terms of team fights, because Echo Slam dropped in the midst of all of those spiders can be quite a devastating force that you do not want to go up against. So pairing an Earthshaker with the Broodmother is not the worst idea ever. Meanwhile, we saw a Windrunner opening pick, and then we saw the CK and Queen of Pain. If you've been watching the Dota dailies, you've been seeing CK being played a lot in the Chinese metagame. But just to sort of go over it for people who have been keeping up, who've been following me or Luminous, rather than catching some of Nebula's daily cast for the whole of 2012. Very impressive. CK is a hero who is naturally pretty tanky, naturally high move speed of 325 base, a hero with a very long duration stun, and a hero with a positioning ability, the Reality Rift. And he can really mess up a lot of team fights. And he is just seeing auto play. His only downfall is that he has quite a low mana pool, but you can build him towards the late game, so he's a very good hero. I was going to say he's not a very bad hero, but he's a pretty good hero. And then while we see Puck being picked up on Mineski's side, Ancient Apparition and Obsidian Destroyer being the bans. Now, Obsidian Destroyer has not been seeing the ban pool as of late, but apparently in Southeast Asia, he is still warranted a ban in this case. Now, just to see, we'll see Puck go into lane. Maybe Broodmother will be babysat by the Earthshaker a little bit, or Earthshaker will go for a roam. Puck will definitely solo lane. So maybe a dual mid will be a next combination for Mineski, or maybe they're going to pick up a tri lane and have the Earthshaker babysit that tri lane on the bottom lane. But we see Weaver and Chen being bans. Chen, I'm not too sure about. Maybe they just saw, alright, Windrunner and Queen of Pain obviously want solos, and CK can dual lane mid with pretty much anybody, preferably a Crystal main. So they have two potential solos, and if they dual mid, they'd have a free spot for the jungle. So maybe that's the reasoning behind the Chen ban. I'm not too sure, but we see a Venomancer being picked up. Venomancer, a very strong anti-pusher, a strong team fight, and a very good ganker. Overall, a really good hero. He's so often seen the Dota 2 hero picks with the first three picks if he's not banned outright. Well, he's not really banned because, the big four are usually the bans in Dota 2, but he's definitely one of the top picks in that metagame. Meanwhile, we see Crystal Main being picked up maybe to deny the Neolution team from having that Crystal Main paired with the CK, which is such a powerful lane, having that slow and the Frostbite to combine with CK and giving early mana regen to that CK is really, really strong for CK in the early game where he has a lot of trouble with mana. So expect to see maybe a hard carry to pair up with that Crystal Main, having Earthshaker roaming a bit, or having the dual roam of Crystal Main and Earthshaker, and having sort of a solo hero on that bottom lane for Mineski. So let's see what the last hero that Neolution decides to pick up. It could be anything. We could see a CK Venomancer dual lane mid. We could see a traditional tri-lane having a support and have Venomancer pull quite a bit, but Venomancer is one of those utility heroes who needs quite a bit of experience. You want a decent level Gale, and you need quite a high level of Plague Ward, and you want to have that level 2 ultimate. Level 1 ultimate, it's good, but it doesn't really justify the mana cost for throwing it down in the team fight, especially when you have heroes who can survive quite well, and heroes who can sort of slow down the opposition, like a Puck or a Broodmother. Meanwhile, we see Furion, aka the Prophet, being the pickup for Neolution, so it'll be interesting to see. We're probably going to have a jungle Furion in this case, as opposed to the traditional Chinese laning Furion. So that gives a lot more gank ability for the Neolution team, in conjunction with that Queen of Pain, the Windrunner, Shackle Shot, the Chaos Knight, Chaos Bolt. So heavy ganking on the Scourge side. Let's see what Mineski decides to do with their last pick. They could go for more of a team fight. They have the Earthshaker and the Puck, and Broodmother will solo push quite well. Or they could go more of a pushing strategy. Really, the door is left wide open for Mineski. So, in terms of DotaCommentaries.com, the Premier League has been going on for a couple weeks now, 3 weeks I think, and it's been going quite fantastically. I'm really excited to see EG, Little Cost, and XP doing very well, and we see a Tiny being picked up, so we're going to have a Tiny solo mid, most likely, although we do see Mineski doing crazier things. I think one game Luminous casted, they did like a tri-lane Tiny or a dual lane Tiny, and they just had him sort of roam once he hit level 3. I'm not really too sure, but I think in this case we're going to see a solo mid Tiny. He hasn't saved up for the quick bottle. He's going for a bit more of a conservative laning build, and we see, as is so often the case, support for that Broodmother going down to the bot lane, so we're going to see dual lanes, and we see good lucks all around. It looks like these teams are quite excited to play this new version. And Earthshaker, let's see what he picked up. He picked up the wards. I think Crystal Main picked up the chicken. Meanwhile, we're going to see a Venomancer and a Windrunner dual bot. This is very, very interesting. Maybe Venomancer is going to swing back mid to help the CK, and Windrunner is going to solo bot. That would be my best guess. And we're going to have that Queen of Pain solo top against the Earthshaker, and I don't know. The tree is just going to scout out for a bit as they're trying to decide what the laning assignments are at the moment, but Mineski is not keeping their heroes at this very sacred tier 1 tower, so very common web spot for the Broodmother to keep an eye on for the runes and see if, heroes swing by to get a gank off, then he'll have advance warning. And we're going to see Crystal Main babysitting that Brood like I said earlier, so looks like Venomancer and CK will be dual laning it up, and Puck will be the solo top. Puck versus Queen of Pain, it's a wash, but with Earthshaker's support, then the Puck should have an advantage, although Puck really needs experience quite a bit, so may Earthshaker overroam back mid once he sees the trouble that Tiny will have against this CK Venomancer dual lane. Now, CK Venomancer dual lane mids, you might be asking why. Why not have CK in its more stable tri-lane and not have a dual lane. Well, CK is one of those heroes who can bring a hero out of position with his Reality Rift, and one of the most common ways to avoid death is just running back to your tower and avoiding that damage. But if CK can just pull you back and stun you for quite a long duration with his Chaos Bolt, then you're going to be as good as dead. And Venomancer's Soul really helps him in that regard. Unfortunately, Venomancer's getting a bit unlucky, and Tiny's already forced to use an Avalanche. He has no clarity, so he's just going to Avalanche for quite a bit. And I think the biggest reason for seeing CK mid is that he has easier access to bottle runes, and CK as a ganker really relies quite a bit on his mana pool, and especially without a Crystal Main, he really wants to have as close access to the rune spot as possible. So that's probably the primary reason why we see that, as we see Venomancer with maybe got the chicken and the wards, as we're going to see a pure support Venomancer. Meanwhile, Crystal Main is denying helping that Broodmother out quite a bit. We expect to see that Broodmother send spiders into the mid lane, as we see Tiny just being harassed in all sorts of manner, being harassed by the Venom Scale. Furion is going to TP in. Will he? No, it looks like he canceled that TP. I think he might have been able to get a kill, but it looks like he just canceled it. I guess he didn't want to go in without the Sprout, and he has quite a low bit of mana. Maybe he didn't want to dive in too aggressively for that Tiny. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain having a little bit of trouble using Scream of Pain. Usually in a laning Quap. Quap is quite versatile in terms of laning, but I like getting Shadow Strike just because it provides a lot of harassment. Of course, I don't usually, solo top lane with Queen of Pain, nor do I play Queen of Pain that often. But those are just the type of builds, because you really don't need Scream of Pain to farm if you have very good lasting. But if you're facing into dual lane and you want to hit multiple targets with that Scream of Pain, then that's always a good option. What else can I say, man? What more can I say? As Jay-Z would say. As we see Tiny is going to scout for that rune. I don't think he picked it up, as we see the couriers being loaded up, so Tiny is having a lot of trouble. CK getting pretty much free farm. Expect to see him pick up a bottle relatively soon, or if not, boots, because he has very high base movement speed. Meanwhile, Crystal Maiden jungling with the support of those pulls, and Furion just being a total cockblock, just cock-blocking those creeps, and CM cannot get a tank to tank for her. Basically, when you're a CM, you can just seduce your own creeps to take all the damage for you. But meanwhile, we see Tiny forced to jungle. Mineski is not having too much success in their own early landing phase. Queen of Pain is handling herself quite admirably, to be quite honest. 10-3 versus a 12-3 puck, so she's getting by, just to get by, as Tiny is having a lot of trouble, but looks like the bottom lane is being won quite handily by Mineski on the bottom lane with that Broodmother CM. Broodmother 10-3 picked up that early Soul Ring. Meanwhile, Windrunner was forced to go back, teleports back in, is only 2-2, so she is having a lot of trouble. Meanwhile, Tiny using Avalanche even more, got a nice double harassment down. Looks like CK casts that Chaos Bolt for not that much damage, but for a 2-second stun, but CK is taking quite a bit of damage from these creeps. It's going to Clarity up and is not going to pop the salve, because I think he saw that Tiny did not have the mana pool and his bottle is coming in, so expect to see Tiny receive a lot more attention soon enough, and Tiny might be forced to jungle in the very near future. Meanwhile, May on that puck, handling his own, but Queen of Pain is just getting that much needed level experience, just checking out the levels really fast. Actually, we're going to see a gank in. Furion teleports in, and a Reality Rift with the double damage. CK will be able to pick off the Tiny without any trouble, and looks like Sue on that Chaos Knight match pick up the Verse Blood, and Furion with CK, a very, very aggressive gank lineup on the Neolution side, already proving its worth, and looks like a silence being thrown down, and an orb with the puck. Oh, unfortunately, he managed to phase shift or blink that last attack, but looks like May managed to pick up a kill, so 1-1, and the game is all tied up. But I think overall it's favoring Neolution quite a bit, even though Queen of Pain died. If you have the choice between getting CK First Blood and Puck getting a not First Blood, you'll get CK that First Blood, and Queen of Pain has been handling herself quite well. I mean, she is level 5 up against a level 5 Puck. I mean, slightly behind in terms of experience, but although Neolution has to pay a bit of attention to that bottom lane, because Crystal Maiden is already level 4, Broodmother level 5, so they're not in fact jungling very heavily with these Spiderlings. They're just sort of just going at it, and they're going to provide a little bit of pressure to that tower. Meanwhile, Windrunner is just having a miserable time. Level 4, 3 and 2, and they're already forced to pop the glyphs, and the spiders are just going to go to work, go to town on that tower. Meanwhile, CK roaming up has that boots, give him a much needed boost of mobility. Well, not really much needed because he's already a fast motherfucker. Puck picking up an early Nulltize, and that's a little bit odd. You really expect to see, Puck pick up some boots, get some treads, provide a lot more mobility. As we see, looks like the Furion TP'd in and died. CM is gonna die, maybe, I don't know. Oh, she is going to die to the Venomancer, but looks like the chase was going on the top lane. Venomancer being harassed quite a bit by these Spiderlings is going to have to turn around, but turning around is at death, and Broodmother picks up a triple kill. Really huge swing of momentum in Mineski's favor. When they're losing the other lanes, or not really losing, then Broodmother picks up a triple kill. All is right in the world, although CM was quite unfortunate in terms of being picked off by that ward. Looks like Queen Pain picked up that bottle. And since we're on the new map, let's see if any of these guys pick up any of the new items. Heaven's Halberd to shut down a Broodmother. Always a pretty good idea. Having that Rod of Ados to slow down a Broodmother. Also a good idea. Although slowing down a Broodmother, it's quite hard in its own right. It's slowing down by 50% for 4 seconds. Max move speed, so that's around like a Pudge-based movement speed. So Rod of Atos would not be the worst item in the world to get. Gives you a lot of tank ability. The real question is, who is going to pick up the Abysmal Blade? Abyssal Blade. As people like to call it the Abysmal Blade because it is, quite frankly, way too expensive for what it provides and has too short of range. And I really doubt we're going to see that item being picked up at all. Ring of Aquila might be an item picked up on a Broodmother. I have no idea at the moment. Let's see. Nope, picks up that Soul Ring, is going to go for the Orchid to shut down that Queen of Pain and prevent her from casting a lot of spells. Meanwhile, Puck managed to pick up a kill on that Queen of Pain along with the help of the Earthshaker. Sorry for missing that. But yeah, Queen of Pain, although it was handling herself quite well in the laning phase, has been dying a couple of times, really feeding Puck quite a bit of experience and money. And Puck is going to go for Phase Boots, probably the least common item that Puck is going to get these days. Really, you see Treads or Arcanes on Puck, but I guess Phase Boots for a lot of mobility. It really fits Mineski's overall extremely aggressive gank style, and having the CM on your team really doesn't mean you need that Arcane Boots too heavily. So meanwhile, Venomancer is going to pick up some experience. His level 6 is going to get that level of wards, and Puck is just being a beast, hurting down that CM. Of course, Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain being a masochist probably really likes that, but, doesn't like it to the point of, dying, to be quite honest. Let's see how many times in a row I can say the word quite. Quite. As looks like Queen of Pain being harassed quite a bit. Another fissure. Really chaining these nukes extremely well, but Venomancer is going to come around. Earthshaker's in a lot of trouble. Queen of Pain does an aggressive blink, and looks like Earthshaker is going to drop an ultimate for that Queen of Pain, and Puck is going to orb out and drops the Dream Coil, is going to manage to pick off the Queen of Pain. Tiny comes in with a nicely timed avalanche, and a whole lot of stuff just happened. I think looks like Mineski managed to come off the victor because Broodmother managed to pick off a kill on that bottom lane on the Windrunner once again. Windrunner just doing abysmally right now. Crystal Main is knowing those creeps, and this tower is in for a world of hurt. So overall, Mineski is doing quite well. Tidy, not even a bottle. I think he actually has a bottle, but his bottle curly at this point, but has that boots. But with the kill and experience boost on that top lane team fight, is really going to start to work himself back up in the game. And Broodmother is doing quite well. Already has that first Oblivion Staff finished, has the Power Treads, has the Soul Ring, is probably going to go for a Magic Wand very soon, as looks like a dive with the help of the Tiny nets Puck another kill. And looks like CK was the one who took the fall. Now CK, a lot of these games, has been losing, to be quite honest. I think he doesn't really provide enough early game presence for the amount of, he's not really that great early game. I mean, his stun and his reality rift are quite good, but they're not really spammable, which is what we really need in the early game. You need to have that Cerulean nuke. Only real good thing is as we see the shieldless courier making its trek back home. Oh man, the double courier action is really going to be odd for these Southeast Asians because, you know, they're used to bottle crowing and getting that double courier and spamming that courier shield whenever it's in trouble, but now they have to micro twice as hard without the shield, so they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Meanwhile, Windrunner, poor Windrunner, that's what you get for being such a top tier hero all of the time. He's going to be harassed quite a bit. Level 7, meanwhile, everybody else much higher leveled. Yeah, Crystal Main, Earthshaker, the two supports, the lower level, but, you know, Windrunner was that solo lane. Broodmother picks up another tower, is going to go for that second Oblivion staff very shortly. Meanwhile, Crystal Main going to drop a Sentry Ward. Expect to see a ward here. Does not see anything. Yes, does see that ward, and is going to de-ward that. Meanwhile, Windrunner dies again, and Furion is trying to get picked off the Earthshaker, but Earthshaker is magic wanting off just like a boss, and it does die to the right click of the Venomancer. Venomancer now drops his ultimate, and with that poison sting damage, I think Puck will actually die. Yes, Puck will die, and Venomancer manages to live. A little bit over aggressive by that Puck, and Venomancer picks up a couple of kills, and having a level Venomancer will be very important, but Tiny getting that Santa hat, looking at totally pimp. All the ladies love that Santa hat, giving away free deaths to all the little boys and girls and Hydralisks of the world. And Tiny with that early Blink Dagger, without any sort of regen, is just going to roam and be a boss. Which is really the only way you can play Tiny. Just be totally boss-like, as looks like a Blinking Tiny followed up by an Avalanche and a Frostbite will manage to get the kill. Furion is just like, oh, I'll TP you. Nah, you're fine, you're fine. Meanwhile, Windrunner dies a slow and painful death. Actually, that was quite fast in terms of death. If you do want to die, you'd rather make it like fast and swift rather than slow and painful. Although, preferred method of death would be just to not die at all, especially in a Dota game. And meanwhile, Brumo is just being a pain in the ass. My god, picks up that second Oblivion Staff, is going to finish up an Orchid very soon. And they're going to have to deal with this Broodmother going out of control. Let's see what they have that can go through a BKB Broodmother. Oh wait, they have nothing. They have pretty good chasers in terms of chasing a Broodmother down with the Shadow Strike and the CK. It looks like Furion is going to be a lot of trouble. A nice long-range fissure, and Furion dies to the toss. Very nicely done. This is the power of Mineski getting that early game ganks. But unfortunately, Mineski has not been able to transition that ganks early or very well at all. It looks like Bruno is going to try to lifesteal, but very nicely played Shackle Shot, and looks like CK is going to be trapped. All surrounded by spiders, the worst form of arachnophobia. Waking up, surrounded by spiders, it's like some terrible nightmare. But luckily, CK woke up and is able to escape just fine. Meanwhile, Tiny is lurking. He's lurking for a kill. He's creeping up that mid lane and is going to get that range creep. You got it, man. You totally own that, as he is going to try to pick up another rune very soon in another 30 seconds. Finishes up his magic wand, and looks like the Mineski team are going to try to push down another tower. The overall tower count is hugely in favor of Mineski. I mean, it's 3-0 in terms of towers right now. And like I said, Neolution has pretty good heroes in terms of chasing down the Broodmother, but not really at all once she picks up a BKB, because she'll be pretty much invulnerable. They really have to get maybe Ghost Scepters or stuff like that, as Tiny gets another blink in. Unfortunately, Venomancer had that full wand and managed to survive that last hit. A really poor Shackle Shot, shacking those creeps together. You can never separate those creeps, even in death, as we see right now. Meanwhile, Broodmother trying to finish up that Orchid. Let's just check out our gold really fast. Check out those creep kills. 71-6 on Jules playing that Broodmother, and 84 gold. May picked up another component to Oblivion Staff. 60 on May playing the Puck. Looks like Blue managed to take the fall. Earthshaker died horribly in the mid lane, as we see the remnants of the engagement just sort of going to go down. My bad, guys. Checking up those creep kills, but you can't really do that in Southeast Asian games where anything is possible. Anything is happening. Looks like the Crow is chasing, trying to get that vision of the CK. Tiny with a toss. It's just like alley-oop creep. Gonna get that kill, and looks like Jay playing that Tiny. Gonna go for that 4-staff, and Jay is really, this is really the power of a momentum Tiny, and Broodmother just owning up that bottom lane after Tiny just disposes of the trash in the mid lane. And this is the power of having an early game lineup to help your Broodmother. If you get those early game skills maxed out, you can really fight these 4v5 team fights without the Broodmother, and allow Broodmother to push along with her merry way, and Earthshaker picking up some farm as well. Arcane Boots, gonna go for that magic wand very soon. Crystal Main has Arcane Boots. Arcane Boots all around. Nothing wrong with maximum Arcane Boots. Meanwhile, Tiny is not picking up Arcane Boots, but he might pick up a Furion with that toss and Avalanche. Just a toss. Can he get... Nope, just a big ass backhand to the face. The ultimate bitch slap by the Tiny. And looks like Queen of Pain might be the next one to take a fall, but Queen of Pain is just like, nah, bro, I have a blink. Is gonna blink herself very oddly in the trees. Heidi knows where you are. He knows when you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So die. As Tinys tend to say it with that Santa hat on. And meanwhile, Queen of Pain just juking out, wasting a lot of time of the Earthshaker and the Tiny. But meanwhile, Broodmother is just being a total pest, literally, with these pests. I think Spiderlings officially qualify as pests, as Queen of Pain is taking an epic odyssey around the map to escape the Tiny's wrath. Tiny, let's see, 8-1, 43-4, did not have the greatest mid lane, but again, Queen of Pain dies. Yeah. Thanks for cutting off my thoughts, as my camera skills have not been the greatest, I might be quite honest, as looks like Puck gets Nova Galed and drops Silence, can Windrunner manage to pick up kill. I think Puck will be A-okay, as CK is going to go back in. Meanwhile, Broodmother is on the hunt, is going to pick off Venomancer. Tiny comes in for the big-ass backhand to the face, is going to maybe nuke down the CK. Broodmother and Tiny, a very potent combination. You cannot run, you cannot hide. You're gonna die. Really, Miggy? That, I have no words. I have no words for you, Miggy. As Queen of Pain teleports back in, really wanted that Crystal Main kill, but Tiny was just like, nah, I got you, man. And really, this is very odd. As another Blink Avalanche picks off the Queen of Pain, Tiny just gonna go on rampage as Broodmothers tend to love to do when they get that momentum, pushing down your towers, pushing down the base, allowing no room to breathe, just suffocating you, and Orchid is going to be popped on the Windrunner. Windrunner will be able to escape just fine with the help of the Venomancer friend. Venomancer picking up that Tranquil Boots, but is not being too effective in this game because they can't really move that well. Meanwhile, CK managed to catch that Crystal Main out of position with the Blink Stun Reality Rift combination. Has that Dust, is probably going to go for a Django when he gets a chance, but right now they're just being suffocated on all fronts by Mineski, by this Tiny, and by this Broodmother, who have just been out of control. And meanwhile, the mobility of Mineski is just coming into huge play, as we see Puck blinking in, no, force staffing in with the Silence, the Dust being popped down, and looks like the Sonic Blade is going to catch the Puck. Power Shot managed to catch him as well, and with that Sentry Ward and the Dust being popped, but Tiny comes to the rescue, as is so often the case, and CK blinks in. He's like, oh, Venomancer, we got this, bro, we got this. But looks like they do not, in fact, have this at all. CK is going to escape because he is fast as the wind, and Tiny is just being harassed quite a bit. Looks like they managed to escape the Broodmother to just an endless team fight. Oh my god. As is so often the case in the Southeast Asian Dota games, and Broodmother just not giving a crap what you say. And Tiny's just going to regen up, going to jump back in the battle. Regen room, being a boss. Picks up the Yule Scepter along with the Force Staff, so he is never going to run out of mana. Blinks in for the Windrunner. Venomancer takes the fall. One more bit. Nope. And looks like Broodmother wants to get that nuke off, but Broodmother is going to be next one to fall. Oh, unfortunately, I think they managed to get out of the Sentry Ward, and Broodmother escapes with the life. And Furion going to go for Orchid, but that's a problem when you have 777 HP, as Broodmother pops in at exactly the wrong time as Furion just casts his ultimate. The ultimate is like, oh, peace, Broodmother, gonna catch you out. And Tiny picks up another kill. This Tiny just being... This is what Tiny thrives on, just so much chaos in every fight. But looks like they're finally gonna manage to pick up this Tiny. Echo Slam being dropped off. Tiny is just way too tank at this moment. And looks like the... I have no idea what's going on, but Earthshaker takes the fall. Tiny finally dies to the CK, but he did not die in vain, although he did lose the Santa Hat, which is something that is very unfortunate in every situation. Looks like Orchid was finally picked up on the Furion, and Queen of Pain managed to pick off the kill on that Crystal Main. Meanwhile, Puck just chilling, just flying, picks up that Blink Dire, so now we're going to see, like, 4 blinks on the Sentinel team. 4 blinks, or 3 blinks, and a really fast spider. And it would be awesome if Crystal Main picked up Blink Dagger as well, because that is what Mineski tends to do. They just get all of the blinks. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain. This is the problem with Queen of Pain. If you don't have a fantastic early game, you're pretty much useless in the mid game. You can't really chase very well because people can just turn around and kill you. You can't really, clear creep plays too well. Looks like Chaos Knight managed to get Orchided, and looks like they want to go after the Broodmother, but they are going to use the stun, and they are going to use the Dust. Fury TP's in. No Dust being popped off, so Broodmother escapes just fine, trolling it up in her web. As another one of the few lulls in the, like, L-U-L-L, not lulls. One of the few lulls in action is taking place. 41 kills in 21 minutes. My God, I think I've only caught like maybe 2/3 of those kills, and Tiny is to be responsible for quite a bit of that havoc. As Crystal Main farming up clearly for a Blink Dagger, as you really want to have that team blink. It really forms a bond of camaraderie when everybody has the same item, like a Blink Dagger. I mean, if everybody has a Magic Wand, then nobody gives a shit. But if everybody has a Blink Dagger, then you really feel closer with your teammates. I find it a very emotional, connective experience to have the same item with everybody. See, Broodmother hasn't picked up anything since that Orchid. Might be saving up for a BKB. Looks like they know Broodmother's here. They've popped the Dust and Orchided on the Broodmother, popped out the Furion, and meanwhile Broodmother's going to take a lot of damage. Broodmother's going to definitely take the fall. Meanwhile, CK is managing to get a lot of kills in the background with the help of the Queen of Pain. They picked off the Tiny and the Crystal Main. Very, very odd, to be quite honest. No, Tiny is right here. He's just chilling. He's like, yo, Bballin, you have no idea what you're talking about. And I would be like, yeah, you're probably right. As Tiny's just going to turn around, but this is CK. He is a tanky mother effer. Tanky motherfucker. Why am I censoring myself? Sopa is going to be reintroduced in the House and the Senate again next month. But for now, it is defeated. But we have to keep up ever vigilance, constant vigilance in the fight against Sopa, as meanwhile the CK realizes I might be a little bit over my head, although he does have that Santa Hat. He does not want to give up, but meanwhile Tiny really wants to get that Santa Hat back, picks up a double kill. Brewer is dead, so they can't really push the towers, push all the lanes, and Queen of Pain farming it up, really no items whatsoever to speak of. Crystal Main still wards Earthshaker with that Blink Dagger. I mean CS, I could check the CS, but it really doesn't matter at all in this case. We can see Broodmother second most after Puck, because Puck, he has 4 deaths. I was like, Puck hasn't been dying, so he's just been farming. And meanwhile, when you see a Crystal Main harassing your Queen of Pain, you know you're in a bad time. You're in a bad place in your life when that's happening. Meanwhile, Windrunner, the early casualty, still hasn't even picked up treads. It's a sad life for any utility hero when you're just being pressed down so hard. But it looks like Venomancer picked up a gem. They want to get some form of map control back, because the strength of Mineski is they can come out of anywhere with those blinks and with the spawn, with the Broodling, and just totally own your team. But I don't know if gem will be too effective. Looks like Puck is going to be the next one to be caught, as Furion pops the Orchid, and unfortunately Puck is going to get Shadow Strike. I think he will die, but meanwhile it looks like the Windrunner takes another fall. Venomancer is going to try to pop the ultimate, but he does have the gem. Looks like Tiny picks up another kill, and the BKB Broodmother is finally popped, and the gem falls, as CK is going to be the next one to fall. Don't even trip, because you're about to fall, as is the constant motto. Tiny is just lurking, waiting for his Blink Dagger to not be disabled. Managed to catch 2 arrows in with that toss, and CK is going to take the arrow to the face. No arrows on this side, but it's just going to take a lot of damage, and the constant item advantage, 0 towers for Neolution, and just constant aggression really means they can't really tank any of this early game physical punishing damage. If they maybe had a tower, they might be able to pick up a hood and eventually a pipe or mecha. I really feel like those items would be really useful, but they've just been suffocated. Absolutely torn to pieces by this aggressive Mineski team, as super mobile Tiny moving at 522 MS across the map. Not really, but it seems like that with that Blink and Force Staff and Yule's combination. Meanwhile, Broodmother just hurting down everything. Tiny did take the fall, so he loses the Sand Hat Always, always a miserable experience when you lose that hat, as Queen of Pain is gonna be in a lot of trouble right now. Oh my god, Mineski just walking all over Neolution. Constant aggression. And one of the problems with Mineski is they have trouble transitioning to the late game when their constant aggression does not win them the game in the first 25-30 minutes. But when your aggression just allows you to go balls out for every opening minute to the game till 30 minutes in the game and just suffocate the other team, I can't emphasize how much Neolution is just starved in terms of gold, just constantly dying, no towers, very few items. Queen of Pain, Windrunner. I mean, Firin went straight Orchid, and Firin is really just not doing good time, not having good time. I mean, Reality Rifting creeps, 440 damage by the Chaos Knight, not too bad, but when you see a Demon Edge being picked up by the Broodmother, clearly going for the MKB next, and nothing can get through that BKB Broodmother, like I mentioned earlier in the game. No Roar, no Black Hole, no, I don't know, Warlock Ultimate. I don't even know why I said that, no Vengeful Spirit swap. Queen of Pain just has absolutely nothing. Looks like the Mineski team wants to go for a Roshan, and Big Santa Claus is gonna take a fall. As Crystalmane picks up a Vitality Booster, Earthshaker, still with the same stuff. Puck gonna go for a Perseverance, probably obviously gonna go for a Refresher Orb, because Refresher Orb is always the right choice in any game. Although Battle Fury Puck cannot be underestimated. Actually, it can be, because it's quite honestly not a very good build. As Tiny picks up that Boots of Child, is probably going to TP in and get that Aegis snipe, but Broodmother is just like, nah, bruh, I got this. Just leave it to me. I am a big-ass spider, farmed as all heck, and looks like Smoke wards everything being dropped, picked up by the Venomancer. He is just not having a good time as Tiny blinks in the background, picks off the Queen of Pain. Earthshaker dies, which is quite unfortunate for the Earthshaker, but he buys back. Queen of Pain buys back as well, realizing if they don't win this fight, they ain't gonna win nothing. Broodmother trying to lifesteal everything, but unfortunately, 4 CKs, they do a lot of damage. And it looks like the purple hero dies again. Puck manages suicide. Broodmother dies again instant, as the teamfight is going quite favorably for Neolution, but Tiny is just lurking in the background when Tiny has so much mana and the other team is not tank at all to withstand him. Then Tiny's just going to dominate the rest of the team fight as another hero is being picked off by Jay. Jay being that MVP. Most valuable owner. Earthshaker bought back, smoked up, picked up an Ogre Axe. As I don't even know. I didn't even know there was a hero there. Man, my map awareness has really gone to the shitter, to be quite honest, since I haven't cast in like a month and a half. Cast any sort of Dota games. But hopefully I'll be back on that soon. Yeah, I think it's pretty much safe to say, as a Jay toss coin, no hero. I think they want to get Jay to leave because he's owning everybody. Neolution just being very polite and saying, please leave, because we don't want to get beat down in the TGS 2012 Grand Finals, I do believe. But looks like Jules is going to manage to survive that shackle shot. Gemp picked up on the fear, and Jay picking up that ag stick. Oh my god, how or epic can you be? The epic Tiny Club siege damage to towers. This is ridiculous. Jay, why are you such a boss? This is like the first time I've ever seen Ag's Tiny, like, even in a pub game, to be quite honest. And he's just owning the crap out of these creeps. This is hilarious. Oh my god. Agceptor Tiny. I mean, can you really... I mean, Santa Claus, Agceptor Tiny. You can't really get much more boss than that. And these Venomancer wards, you know, get owned by that siege damage. As Tiny just blinks out. He's gonna pick up another tree. Oh, I think the tree is actually permanently equipped in the new version, as they want to go on Jay. This is just so hilarious. He picked up Ags. Oh my god. He is a legit mountain giant from the Warcraft 3 ladders, just tossing everything, picking up people, whacking him with trees. He's a lumberjack to the nth degree. I mean, how much more boss can he get? I can't even watch any of the other action. We're just gonna watch Tiny own everything with the big ass club. The whack, says the Tiny. as looks like this game is all but over. Queen of Pain trying to pick off Tiny, but Queen of Pain is just in for an unpleasant surprise as Jay doing massive damage to the racks because siege damage owns buildings. Oh my god. That is awesome. Jay, you are a beast. As the GG is being called all around, I'll bring down the final score screen, but I think this is a good time to talk a little bit about what I should do, what I've been up to, what I'm thinking of. So yeah, Dota 1 games. I'm not really too interested in casting any more Chinese games, to be quite honest. I mean, they've been getting more aggressive and the games are getting quite short, but we see sort of the same heroes over and over again. You know, in Southeast Asian games, we see a different buffet of heroes. Wow, I sound like a total douche when I said a buffet of heroes. But yeah, if I can find more Southeast Asian Dota 1 games, or if there's any European team who plays Dota 1, which I don't think is possible, I might be able to cast some of those games. But what I've really been thinking of is I might save up for a PC and just try to get Dota 2. Unfortunately, I'm running low on money because, I'm a student, I'm a broke ass student. I don't know, I've been toying with the idea of asking for donations, but I've been very strict against that because I don't really like asking random people on the internet for donations. Just let me know if you think it's an okay idea. To be quite honest, I'm probably just going to save up my own money and get it. Uh, or you could just subscribe and maybe I'll get a partnership one day. Who knows? That might be the best idea. I'm planning to do a lot more pubs because, I mean, I can't play Dota 2 at the moment, and Dota 1, really, there's aren't not too many games to be quite honest. So expect more pubs in the future. Yeah, and in terms of other projects, the podcast has sort of been canceled with Diamond. We've just been very busy, having very conflicted schedules. But I don't know, we might be able to revive another podcast idea in the future. DCCOM Premier League, check that out on DotaCommentaries.com. Dota 2 action featuring a lot of European teams, a couple of Chinese teams, and MYM and Mineski, who are the Asian representatives, Southeast Asian representatives for the Premier League, being casted by Luminous, and it's sure to be a good time all around. So yeah, those are sort of the future ideas, future things I've been up to. More pubs, maybe a couple more Dota 1 games. Uh, Heck if I know. But yeah, also, another idea. I've been sort of out of the loop in terms of, updating you guys. And since I switched to the new channel layout, I mean, it's very annoying to, post there. I can't even post a bulletin. So it's a little odd. Or I can post a bulletin, but not everybody. It's a little odd. I'm still getting used to channel layout, but let me know if you want me to make a Facebook page, because then I'd definitely update that. I do have a Twitter, twitter.com/bballin773 or at @bballin773. Follow me there if you want to get sort of random musings. I try to keep my tweets funny if I have the energy, or if I'm not sick as heck, then you can do that. Otherwise, please subscribe, like, do all that stuff. It really helps motivate me because, maybe one of these days I'll get a YouTube partnership. Not for a while, but, one of these days I'll be able to get one of those. But, yeah. Also, DCCOM has been sort of in a slow suit with Luminous doing a lot of live casting. Also, check out DotaCommentaries.com for Nebula casting a daily every single day this year. I might do it like a game every single day for like 3 weeks or something in next month. I don't know. It's an idea I'm touring with. If I get a PC, that's what I'll do. I'll cast a game every single day for 2 to 3 weeks. But I can't do it. I don't have the dedication like Nebula does. So shouts to that guy. So yeah, let me know if you want me to Facebook page. Please subscribe, like videos, etc. Let me know if the donation. I'm probably not gonna do a donation at all. I'm just probably gonna save up my own money and get a PC. But let me know if that's something you do. Hopefully you'll enjoy this game. Sorry I didn't catch a lot of those kills, but dang. I mean, to be quite honest, 73 kills in 30 minutes. That's well over 2 a minute. Basic mathematics for the win. So yeah, hopefully you all enjoy that game. Very aggressive by Mineski. just constant action 24/7. Neolution put up a fight in the laning phase, but then after that, it just steamrolled out of control. So, yeah, thank you all for watching and have a fantastic day.